Now, when Alan sent me a note this morning called The Power of Cabbage, I knew that he was going to be bringing us some radio gold this morning, and you will not be disappointed. Many people have a dream of owning their own business, but with more than half of new businesses failing to get beyond the first 5 years, the risks are well known to entrepreneurs about taking the plunge. So deciding to invest your life into something is a big deal. Alan Newman is in Petersfield today with a couple who've invested everything in potatoes and cabbage. They are on a mission to bring back the bubble and the squeak. Hello, Alan.
Good morning. Welcome to the stainless steel kitchens of Bubble and. What you're about to hear, you need to listen to the whole story to believe the end concept that we're heading to as a nation. Let's have a quick look at some business figures. You're right, 50% of new business ventures don't make it past 5 years. That's reasonably well known. 60% of all new businesses involve food. So the food bracket, over half of those don't make it. So food is a great sector, but it is, of course, a high-risk sector. One of the areas of food that's doing quite well, of course, is well known, is the food that you buy in farmers' markets, you buy at events known as street food. That's seeing a 20% growth. Over £600 million a year now spent on people buying food outside. Now, we've all heard of the wraps and bits and pieces that you'll have seen, and the burgers and the sausages, but we don't want any of that anymore. We have moved on. We have moved on to Bubble and Squeak. Brace yourselves. Now, most of us will have heard of Bubble and Squeak. First really recorded in 1785 in a book called The Vulgar Tongue. It was cabbage and beef. And as it was cooked on the hearth, it spat a little bit, and hence the name Bubble and Squeak is thought to have emerged. In 1951, post-rationing, the beef is out, and it's now a vegetarian dish mentioned in Good Housekeeping as a treat after your Christmas Day roast dinner. You could get a bit of beef if you were very lucky. We've all heard of Bubble and Squeak. We all know about Bubble and Squeak, but imagine investing your life, your whole family, everything you own and everything you hold dear into Bubble and Squeak. Well, let's meet the people who have. Rupert Smith and Marita Leitz. They are next to me now. They are the owners of Bubble and. Rupert, chef. Marita is a PR marketing expert. They didn't have pots of money when this came around. It came around a few years ago. Rupert, just take me through the opening moment when you're standing as a chef, and you've worked in some great kitchens. You've worked under the current Queen chef, but you're standing in a kitchen and you go, I've got it. It's Bubble and Squeak. What were you thinking?
I thought it was a little bit crazy at the time, but I thought, well, let's try it. So I came home to Marita, and I said, I've got this idea. What do you think about Bubble and Squeak? And she was sort of, I'm not sure about that one. But I made up for her, created a recipe, did it all at home, did a few different selections of the recipe, and from then on it was, yeah, she loved it, and just thought it was a great concept, great idea.
It could have just been, Marita, an idea of a bored chef. I mean, you spent most of your life growing up in America. What did you think? Had you ever heard of it? And did you think he's having a breakdown? He's reached that point in his life where it's all falling apart.
Maybe a little bit, but I think my reaction was, Bubble and what? I'd never had it at that point. And when he cooked for me what it was he was envisaging, it wasn't just, oh, let me just give you some refried cabbage and potatoes and leeks. He'd actually taken something that was a British classic and elevated it to, pretty high-end stuff. So if you look at our menu now, you can see all sorts of beautiful dishes: lamb shoulder, confit pork, chorizo. He's taken Bubble and Squeak and just made it something pretty special.
You can tell she's in PR, can't you? It's a slick machine. She sells the story as you are now, but of course then, and that was 2.5 years ago, very quickly, you both jacked in your jobs, you moved your home and your family to try and launch this. Take us through that story.
We did, so we came home, and it was early 2013. That was when I put the dish down for Marita, and then it was, love the idea, okay, what are we going to do? Let's start a business, all based around Bubble and Squeak. So 3 months later, quit our jobs, and moved back into my parents' house with the kids and all. We had 2 youngsters, one is about 3 months old, and started on the farmers' markets. Started going to events.
Let me just stop you there. If I said to my parents, I'm selling up, I'm moving out of London, I'm bringing my wife, she's pregnant, and 2 other children, and we're going to invest everything in Bubble and Squeak, my dad would be, well, he'd pass out.
I think he has his own little smoking room where he can sort of stay out of the way, so he's quite happy. Looks at, I think they're happy with it. I mean, it's great. My kids grow up now around their grandparents as well, so there's lots of benefits to it, and they've been so open arms. It's been amazing and supportive. So we just came home, and I started peeling potatoes at home, and that was it. It was sacks of potatoes on the kitchen table, peel, and make up the bubble and squeak, and head off to the markets, and that's how it started.
There must be, I know we've got a great ending to this story, Marita, but there must be a part where you were standing in a freezing farmer's market with a baby in a papoose, selling bubble and squeak, and you thought, I'm not sure about this. I mean, are you so hardcore that it didn't bother you, or were there moments of this journey where you really had to dig deep?
I'm really hardcore.
Are you really that hardcore, are you?
Yeah, listen, I did have a baby in a sling on my belly throughout a couple of winters, and there were times when my toes were freezing, and I was thinking to myself, what have we done? But no, I believe in Rupert. I've always believed in Rupert, and where we are today, and how much we've grown and how much we've achieved, I know that we made the right decision.
I know that you've taken, it's quite hard to describe, we'll put a little movie if we can on Facebook to see it, because it does look beautiful, it looks very restauranty, I get that, and you're a very, very good chef, and you're a great PR lady, you've got a great website. I understand that the two of you together, that's a great marriage for a business as well as for a great marriage. But what is the plan with this? Because it's a product that you don't particularly want to freeze. It needs to be very, very, very fresh. I know you can get it in the likes of Waterstones if you're in one of their cafes, so you're already out on the high street, out in the farmer's market. But what is the plan? Because you are selling bubble and squeak. You've got to re-educate a whole nation.
We have, our vision is Bubble and the restaurant. It's a whole concept-based restaurant based around bubble and squeak. And that's where we want to go. We want to take my menus and all the dishes that I'm trying out in these markets and festivals, and put them on the restaurant and in the restaurant. And that's what our dream is. It's all about. I really do see bubble and squeak as the English version of pasta. It's all about. You can do so much with it. It's one of those. It's such a versatile ingredient. I can either put flavours through the bubble and squeak, or all the great toppings like the confit pork or the grilled hake or anything that you want with it, and all the different garnishes. So you can create a whole menu all based around it. I believe it's from the feedback, it's just been incredible. So hopefully it's going to happen.
It must be nice to be on the farmer's market and not have anyone else selling a similar product. That must be quite nice. But at the same time, people must be coming up to you and going, bubble and squeak, bubble and squeak.
It has been a little bit of a case of re-educating the nation, and coming from an American, that is kind of ironic. But listen, our vision, we want to be the Wagamama, we want to be the Oaxaca of great British cuisine. We see ourselves as a big potential to build into a global brand and show the world that British cuisine can be the bomb.
Well, Zoe, they've already moved kitchens 3 times. They're now in their biggest kitchen. They're going to have to move again soon. You can have a little look at the business online. And this is an easier one for us to talk about because as far as I can see, there is no one else on the South Coast who is doing anything like this. I can't find anyone else in the country who's doing anything like this. And it's nice to feel that one of these British classics is on its way back.
Quick question for you, Alan. Jenny in Hedge End texted me earlier to say I was saying bubbles and squeak, and she says it's bubble, not bubbles. Am I wrong?
Well, let me ask the owners. I'm going to say yes, but what do you say?
It's definitely bubble and squeak. Definitely.
I stand corrected. I'm learning on this
Bubbles and
programme.
Squeak sounds like a double act, doesn't it, from the 1980s that would have played, Butlins over the years. But it's definitely Bubble and Squeak.
It's a great name for a band. Alan Newman, thank you very much. Alan in Petersfield there.